So you want to do your makeup like everyone's favourite bisexual awakening, Evelyn O'Connell. This one's tricky because there's absolutely no data or information to be found online about what makeup they used on set. I can, however, teach you an approximation of this look. I will warn you in advance, the only thing I will not be doing are her eyebrows because I simply do not have the facilities to do those on this day. The base here is quite translucent but also quite matte, so I'm starting off with the Blurring Balm from Danessa Myricks, and I'm just going to take that through the center of the face to start building our base. I recently received a little sample pot of this, and this is the only mattifying perfecting primer I really enjoyed on my naturally dry skin. Foundation, we're using the About Face Performer foundation in F2. Just pressing that in with a sponge. My method for my base is almost always the same no matter how I'm actually applying it. I do one thin overall layer and then I go back in with almost a half layer just in the places where I need a little bit more coverage. Correct and conceal any discoloration left beneath the eyes. You can also spot conceal any redness in this step, but I want you to leave any freckles and marks that make the skin feel like skin. Using a wee bit of the Natasha Denona concealer for this step. I like this. I do not know if I would repurchase it again at the same price point. It's very expensive. I certainly enjoy it, but do I enjoy it more than any of my e.l.f. concealers? I leave my Fenty. Contour. Contour has been a thing in film for a very, very long time, even if the regular daily makeup wearer was not wearing it in the 90s. So I'm going to take my cream contour for Westman Atelier and just focus it slightly into the natural shadows of the face. Evelyn O'Connell's makeup very much just works with her natural structure, which is stunning. It's not corrective or snatching or pulling anything anywhere it doesn't already sit. I'm also using a slightly more neutral to warm contour in comparison to the very shadowy grey tones I usually reach for. This whole makeup pulls quite warm and brown, so I think this is going to help everything look cohesive. Flower Nose Little Angel Cream Rouge in Fingertip Stella. This beautiful brownie tone is going to be exactly what we're going to look for, and I'm taking it slightly lower than I usually would because her rouge doesn't sit very high up. When you bring this down, you almost want the lowest point of the blush to be near the contour. That is how they have placed it on her, even if I feel like it can drag the face down slightly on certain structures. Spray with setting spray. For my base technique, you want to let that dry down completely. You will feel when it is dry because it will stop sitting on the skin and it will go back to just feeling like makeup again. You want to take powder on a puff. I like a puff because it really locks in the base. And we're going to start setting a good portion of the face. In the shots I have, Evelyn O'Connell was pretty much entirely matte. This was the 90s, they were powdered. Throughout the movie, Evelyn O'Connell's eye look varies, but at its core, it is sort of a reddish brown smoky eye. So I'm reaching for this Patrick Ta palette and hoping it will carry me through. Starting with this sort of warm orangey tone and just buffing it all over the lid to set the tone of the eye look. And then I'm taking this deep reddish brown and smudging it along the lash line to introduce this tone. And being careful that I don't overwhelm my eye really quickly. I say this with love, but Evelyn's eye look is a little bit messy, a little bit unblended, so you don't have to be perfect or precious about this. I do want to soften up the edges ever so slightly with a light, warm transition tone. On the two deeper shades you've used along the lower lash line. Curl your lashes really well and add a good dose of mascara. I don't really see anything else to Evie's eye look. I don't see eyeliner, I don't see any correction. It just looks like a classic smoky eye, which is kind of refreshing. I love MAC's Extended Play Mascara as a lengthening mascara. It's one of the only ones I've ever found that makes like a significant difference. I'm going to do my brows as thin as I can manage. Using a similar powder blush just to reinforce where we placed that cream. Softening that because it had a surprising amount of pigment. I don't think we need to do much more to the skin. I think if you had more natural pigmentation, more freckles, this is going to end up looking much more like Evelyn O'Connell. But I'm gonna take a little liquid liner and just re-accentuate any marks that have vanished beneath the base. It's a disappointing reality with film makeup that if the look just relies on the actor's natural features, it's very difficult to replicate it and look the same. Lips are interesting. In some shots they're a glossier, pinker tone, and in other shots they are browner and more muted, and I suspect that's just a variation from scene to scene. I'm going to go with the more matte lip combination that I see, starting off with Anywhere Caffeine from Makeup Forever. Just using this to line the lips. And she actually did kind of round out the lip shape quite a bit. And then I'm going to use Starry Cross from Flower Nose, which is kind of a peachy brown matte. And kind of the last step I want to take is I want to take a highlight, a matte highlight for my skin tone. This is going to vary wildly depending on your complexion. And I want to run it just under the brow. And take it right on the inner corner. And this is the finished look. This feels like a very quintessentially 90s movie makeup. I feel really beautiful. I hope if you try it, you feel amazing. I don't think it's a perfect replica of Evelyn O'Connell's look by any means, but I do think we get the vibe of it. And I think if you have those really thin eyebrows, it really will just absolutely be perfect. I love you all so much, and I'll see you another time. Bye.